Hello, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram fam. Welcome back. I know it has been a while since I have been on. I think 3 weeks, 3 weeks and 2 days, maybe. I, I don't know. I don't remember. My days are jumbled up together. I was trying to think if the last time that I was supposed to be on was with Jesse, if I came on after that or not. I can't remember. But anyway, I know it's been 3 weeks. So I have not been on since I went out to have surgery. Y'all can see my wonderful scar right there. So I'm healing well from it. I think I am anyway. Go back to the doctor tomorrow to see how that's coming. Um, but I still am having trouble swallowing. My throat still hurts. So I don't know if that's normal at this point. If I talk too much, it starts hurting. So I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. And after talking for an hour, yeah, it's probably going to be hurting, but we'll see how it goes. Um, anyway, and I'm sure most of y'all have seen on my Instagram. So please keep me and my family in your prayers. We lost my precious grandmother last week, and I can't believe I just said that without crying. That's probably the first time today that I've done that. Probably tell by my eyes that's happened a lot today. So if I bust out crying while me and Sammy are talking about her song, y'all know why. But anyway, just lots of prayers. I would appreciate it this week. So we are with Sami Lavette. Did I say your last name right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. I always hate it when I butcher somebody's last name because I get that with mine. So, and I did not realize, people, until I was looking at her Instagram, that she is currently a senior in high school. So
Yes.
I just thought, when I looked her up on Spotify and was listening to her music, and I thought she was already like, Nashville bound and, doing the thing already. And then I got to looking at her Instagram and other pictures. I was like, okay, are these just old pictures? And then I was started reading everything and I was like, no, girl is still in school. And so you are cheering, playing volleyball, play softball, have a boyfriend, play music, go to school full time. How much more busy can your schedule be?
Well, I also make t-shirts and basketball season started yesterday.
Goodness, girl. Now you believe in a
Yes.
full schedule.
Yes.
My goodness. Yeah, now I remember as I'm thinking back, because I think I actually had you originally scheduled earlier in October and we had to reschedule because you had a volleyball game.
Probably.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yes, that was area tournament, I think. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so how did y'all end up doing overall?
Lost every game.
Oh,
I go to a very, very small school, and you have to have 6 on the court. And for that tournament, we had 7.
mm,
So it was rough, but we're getting there. It was my
yeah.
first time to play volleyball, and I got really good throughout the season, but I wish I had played longer. I've played softball and basketball since I was really little, and cheer has always been something I've done, but volleyball was new. It was exciting.
Yeah. Now, my youngest daughter played volleyball all throughout school. And then both my girls grew up on the softball field. So, yeah, I was definitely a sports mama. So, yeah, I can definitely relate. And now that all my kids, boys and girls, are grown and gone, I miss sports. That was so much fun. So,
I don't know
yeah.
what my dad is going to do when I graduate because my sisters are 28 and 27, and then I'm 17. And they all played sports, and then I played sports, and he has coached softball as a a second job teaching pitching lessons and hitting lessons since my oldest sister was 12. And so I don't really play seriously anymore, but I have a team. Our age group has a team that he coaches, and all of them are like committed to play in college. And so he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do because like that's my life, and I'll be gone. So
Oh, goodness. Well, your older sisters are going to have some grandbabies for him to start coaching
they
then.
do, they do. My oldest sister has a baby named Bo that was born in July or of last
Oh,
year. Yes, and then my other sister is a foster mom, and she has three babies right now: a 7, 2, and 1 year old. And she's in the process of adopting the 7 year old. So,
7 is the perfect age to start.
yeah, she's a mess. She's a little handful, but we're working on it.
Oh, it's so much fun. I remember those days well. It was so much fun. All right, so are your plans just which I know school okay, so what is school like where you're at? I know here everything is still crazy because of COVID. So is it but you go to a private school. So is it different than the public schools or how is it for
Um,
y'all there?
well, I went to a really big public school, which is a 6A, which I don't know if it's the same where y'all are, but so for that, 7A is the biggest, and my old school is the 6A. And the smallest is a 1A, and that's what my new school is. So I went from having 200 students in my grade to 16. And it's not normal at all for the Springville school system. They're a county school, so they only go like 2 days a week, if that, and they still have to wear masks 24/7. It's all really spread out. I know they had to open up a lot of new classrooms and stuff so that they could spread out classes. But Victory, where I go now, is very lenient, I guess. We stay with our grade class like all day. So if one person gets it, then that grade quarantines, but the rest of the school is fine. So, and we've had a lot of people catch it, but nobody gets sick. It's
Yeah.
just been like we tested positive, but we were fine. And we wear our masks in the hallways, and that's about it. We don't really associate with the other classes during the day, but you know.
Well, yeah, it's different when your school's that small. I know
Yes.
my youngest son, he went to a smaller school as well. He went to a early college. So his school was his graduating class last year, I think 48 students maybe. And so his class was the first class of that school. So they were the inaugural class. And I think they started out maybe with 60 and 48 graduated. So but still like the last, few months of his senior year was ruined. They came home basically, like, everybody got sent home last year. And I'm not sure what's happening this year, but he's off at college this year and it's completely different. So it's just everything is weird. So I didn't know how your senior year was being affected, but luckily it doesn't sound like it's being affected too much because you're at such a small school. But so that's good.
Yes. We have the option to go online, and I actually at first I was going to school to see all my friends and stuff, but now I'm doing it all online until at least after Christmas, just because with volleyball and softball and cheer and now basketball and then um, these lives and takeovers and everything, it's just better for me to do it online to have those extra few hours because we don't take as
Yeah.
many classes anyway, so it's
Yeah.
just much better.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. Now, do you have plans of going to college or is it just focusing on your music?
I am trying to go to college. I was blessed and worked really hard, and my ACT score, I'll be able to have free college. So I'm Very excited about that. My top two right now are Auburn and the University of Mobile.
All right.
And I'll most likely end up going to Auburn, but I won't get my admissions and scholarship information until this week. So we're hoping and praying that it's good stuff, and we'll be able to cover everything. But I do want to cheer in college,
Yeah.
and I'm majoring in international business with a minor in Spanish.
Okay. You're very close to what my son is doing. Now he is not the business route, but international studies with political science and a minor in Spanish. So close. But
Yes.
Spanish is his nemesis. It is Spanish is getting to him.
I am in a Spanish class, a college Spanish class right now, and it's my 4th year taking Spanish, and I'm struggling because we're not in class.
That's what
And
he said. Yeah.
yes, and the midterm, I made like a 92 on it because I messed up one time saying the wrong verb or whatever, but he was like, your pronunciation just wasn't what it needs to be. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know my pronunciation when you don't pronounce? Like, I don't hear you speak. And he's like the whitest white man. So I'm like, how are you speaking? Like, I'm so confused, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Zachary said they have it over Zoom one day.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and then the other day is just online. But even, over Zoom is not the same as in person.
Zoom
So
kicks me out like 2 out of 3 days of the week.
yeah. Yeah. I think by this point, most of the kids I'm imagining are probably like 80% not paying attention during the Zoom. They're just looking like they're paying attention, maybe. And, they've got their whatever plugged into the computer, and really what's plugged into their ears is probably music.
Yes, we when we did that, when we had to start doing that in March, my friends from my school would actually like screenshot a picture of them looking at the camera and put that as their cover picture. And so it looked like they were paying attention and looking right at the screen, but they were like not even in the room. And so like there was one, he left it there, and then he had texted our group chat and was like, I'm going to take a shower. And so he was gone for like 20 minutes, and she was trying to talk to him, and he was just like, it was so funny.
Oh
It
my.
was so funny.
Oh yeah. I was about to say that will work until the teacher wants an answer from you or
Yes.
something. Yeah, that would be my luck. That would happen to me. Oh my goodness. So, all right, one more school question. Do you cheer for all of the different sports, or just football, or
Most of the schools around here, we just cheer for football and basketball.
okay.
And that's all I've ever known. And we only cheer for home basketball, which at my old school we cheered for every game. We would just split up, like, so we weren't at every single one. But this year, I think seniors will cheer for varsity boys, which works out because I play on varsity girls. So I'll play and then change and cheer.
That works out. Well, that is
Yes.
cool. That is fun. Now you live in Alabama, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What part of Alabama?
I'm a little north of Birmingham.
Okay.
So St. Clair County.
Okay. All right. That's not, I know where you're at then, or sort of kind of where you're at. A little familiar with Alabama. Have not been there in a long time though.
You're not missing much.
Used to go years and years and years ago, when my parents worked in NASCAR. I would go to Talladega for the races, but have
My
not been
school's very
there.
close.
Have not been there since I was a teenager. So yeah, many, many, many years ago. All right, let's talk about your latest release. We'll go ahead and get this one out of the way, just in case I decide to have a moment. But I think I'm good. We're going to make it. So how long ago did it come out though?
I think it came out the second week of October.
Second week of October. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say it wasn't.
It's been out for a short while.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that long ago that it came out. And I'll let you go ahead and tell the story about it, because there was a story behind you writing that song.
Yes. So I just started this contract with Ivy Manor Productions, and they're doing a artist development program in Muscle Shoals. And the first weekend I went up there, he was like, "Okay, here's your project. I want you to, from tonight till tomorrow morning, I want you to write a song." I was like, "Okay." So I went upstairs, and it's like midnight at this point, and I just came up with this chorus, and it was like stuck in my head. And I had been down and out like all week because Naya Rivera had passed away. And the story of it, like at first, it was really shocking, I guess, because it was kind of like around the time, I guess, I don't know, this is kind of like controversial, I guess, but it was around the time that the Epstein files came out. And it was around the time that a lot of things were like going on in the world. And so it was all kind of suspicious because they couldn't prove that she drowned. And so we were all like, what is going on? And as a kid, I still do, but I watched Glee like 6 times through. And Santana was my favorite. And so Naya Rivera, who plays Santana, she was actually on the boat with her son, and he's 4 years old. And it was like a very bad current or something, and it happens a lot out there. And she actually put him back on the boat, and while she was doing that, she drowned. And so it was really confusing, and everybody was like still really shocked, and all the characters from Glee kind of made this huge tribute, like went out to the lake and helped search and everything. And that weekend when I went up, they had found her body, and it was just so sad because that show has lost so many cast members. But and it was just kind of weird to me, and I was like, I mean, she was saving her son. Like, what are the odds? And so I wrote the song, and my dad, like at the end of the contract, we're supposed to have one fully produced song. And my dad was like, screw the contract. We got to get this out. He was like, this is great and all this. And so it was a co-write with my producer, Michael. And so we did it the next day. And then a couple weeks ago, we recorded it all and released it as soon as possible. And I think there's a plan to make a music video. So we're hoping.
Wow. Isn't that funny how sometimes the song that you like just put out so quickly ends up being like your best or your favorite? I think probably your latest is probably always your favorite, but that one will probably remain your favorite throughout a long time. But, it didn't take you, weeks of getting it just right. And, it seems like to me, everybody writes songs pretty quickly, but then you take your time with the production and, getting the vocals just right. And, your music just right. And, all the different pieces put together to put it before you put it out there. And sometimes it seems like the best ones are the ones that you just say, all right, let's just hurry up and get it out there.
Yes. I think all my songs, I'm not by any means a, extravagant songwriter. I just really started, but I write so quickly, and it's helped now having Michael and the people up at Ivy Manor, because they'll sit down and write with me and be like, I think we can do better than that. I think we can make that line better, or I think we can make it mean more than it does. And so they've helped me a lot, because I did not know anything about songwriting. I just learned how to play guitar like a year and a half ago. Like, it's been rough, but I love it. I love writing, and it's funny because my favorite song is the only one I didn't write that's out. But it's okay.
Well, I mean, you're learning,
Yes.
if you said you're just learning, and like you said, the getting together with other people and them helping you to elevate your writing, by saying this line can be just a little bit better, and or let's change this word to this, that just helps you to learn and elevate your thoughts. And I've always heard co-write as much as you can. And
I
just,
had never ever co-written before I met Michael, and I was like really uncomfortable at first, just because I write with my dad sometimes, but with your dad, you can't be like, I don't like that. It's just uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to say anything wrong. And then it's like the only lines I can spit out are good ones, or he's going to be like so disappointed. Like, I don't know, but it's okay.
I would think with your dad, you would be more vocal. So you're less vocal with your dad.
I don't want to make him mad.
Well, I get that. I think I'd probably be that way with my dad too. Like with my mom, I would be more vocal, but with my dad, I'd be like, all right, whatever you say, Dad. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. Dad is always right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's a little girl thing. We don't want to disappoint our dads. We don't ever want to disappoint our dads, but yeah. Exactly. I get that. God, I just lost my thought for a second. Okay, so you said that there is a video. You think there's going to be a video to this song. Do you already have that like envisioned in your head what that's going to be?
Not really. Michael, that's working with us in Muscle Shoals, he has like a whole script and a vision board printed out and stuff, and we just haven't really sat down and looked at it yet. But we kind of want to tie in like all the current events with COVID, and kind of like burning in the streets and stuff, just to kind of show like how, instead of taking life for granted right now, like a lot of us are doing, like we're just like, okay, whatever, like we'll get through it. And instead of that, just taking advantage of everything, like taking every second, like she used her last second to save her son, like, so why can't we use every second to make something better? You know what I mean? Like, I think I want to show in the video, like, it just takes, I mean, I guess it's corny, but it just takes a second to make somebody's day. Like, just anything to make the world a better place is everything that you can do.
Yeah. And it's so ironic because everyone is over it. I mean, we're all over it. We're sick of it. We're tired of it. And everybody's getting like really grouchy and just irritated and tired. And it's so easy to just snap at someone.
Yes.
But like you say, we really need to just take a second to just breathe. And and I'm guilty of it. I am guilty of it, especially this week, snapping, like just snapping at my husband, or just, last night, the guy that I work for last night, I took a text message that he sent me wrong. He took the one I sent back to him wrong. And then we were like, and then I was like, all right, no, I'm calling him because no, we're not going to do this. And I was like, really? Really? You're going to say that to me? And then it's just like, let's both just stop and like, all right, wait a minute. Let's not snap at each other because we could have took the way that was written wrong. So instead of texting somebody, pick up the phone and call somebody, because you might take that wrong, or, just take a second to breathe. And instead of snapping at somebody, just say something kind, put a smile on your face and let something nice come out instead of what was fixing to come out, because it takes more energy to be ugly than it does to be nice.
Yes, my boyfriend is awful about that. I cannot take him in public like 99% of the time. He gets so angry because he hates wearing his mask. And even worse, it's either got like the police flag on it or the Trump flag. So he makes somebody mad everywhere he goes. And I'm like, please, like, just stop. Just stop. And he's like, they said something. I was like, shh, it's okay. Just calm down. Like, just go about your business. I'm like, I cannot take you anywhere.
Oh yeah, that sounds like the way my husband was when it all started. He was like, "I'm not wearing this mask. If this place tells me I have to wear a mask, I'm just not going in there." And now he's just like done fighting it. Now he'll just wear it. He's like, "All right, have you got your mask?" I'm like, "Yep, yep." Because I mean,
I
now
still
just about
forget.
anywhere you go, you have to have it. So
Yes, I still forget. And by the time I get used to having one, it'll be over. Like,
oh yeah,
I keep forgetting. But I have, like, I have bad anxiety, and it's really not bad anymore, but it used to be really bad. And so wearing the masks at first it was terrible. I was like, I cannot breathe. Like, this makes me incredibly nervous. I feel like I'm being
Mhm.
suffocated.
Oh
And
yeah,
then also, like, my acne is terrible. I'm like, goodness gracious. And dermatologist, like, I called mine, and she was like, do not wear makeup under your mask. Don't do this. Don't do this. And she was like, you're like the 100th person to call me. And I'm like falling apart.
yeah,
But,
oh
and
yeah,
at first I was very against it, and I still am, but I see how, if it's going to make something uncomfortable for me to, come in there without one, I wouldn't want to make them uncomfortable. But I'm still like, it just kind of makes me angry because it's like, even the masks, like, on the box, it's like, this cannot prevent the spread of diseases. And so I'm like, this is useless. But, if it makes somebody feel better.
yeah. And that's was my whole thing about it too, is like it's not really how much is it really protecting me? It's not it's not really protecting me. It's making
Yes.
somebody else feel comfortable. And, I understand that. So if it's yeah, I'm like you. If it's going to make somebody else feel comfortable and keep them from giving me dirty looks, then, fine. Cuz don't give me dirty looks right now because I'm not a nice person right now. And
Yeah.
I snap way too easily. So
I'm
I'm
not a
not gonna
nice
be like
person after
going to
like 6
jail
months.
because I snapped at you.
Yes. It's
No,
so,
it's terrible.
you can't even open your mouth these days. Somebody's going to get, like,
Oh no.
angry.
Mm-mm. That's why I'm just so ready for this election to be over. And I hope that some things go back to normal. I mean, this virus is real. I mean, it like, if I ever doubted it, it slapped me right in the face last week. This virus is real. Um, and let me just say for anybody out there that might have heard me, I've never doubted this virus is real. I know the virus is real, but I definitely doubted the extent of it. I felt like the media was blowing it out of proportion. Um, but I do hope that some things are going to go back to normal somewhat after
I
normal.
like how people are cleaning so much. Like, I feel like everywhere I go, I'm not gonna, like, I don't even know, like,
Yeah, like I don't feel as like as
something.
many people have the common cold or people's allergies maybe aren't that bad. No, actually my allergies are worse this year than ever. Um but yeah, places are cleaner. Um
Yes.
places are I've noticed that stores are cleaner. But I don't go out that much unless I have to go somewhere. I just don't go out that much. So, I mean, that's my
It's
way of trying to stay away from it.
it may be that I need to go get checked, but I think I have the antibody. Just because I went to New York in January, before Alabama had even heard about this virus. At this point, it was just in China. And at this point, it was like a rumor that China had created this virus, and they were going to, like, try and send it over here. Or no, I think at this point, everybody was thinking they were trying to kill Trump. I don't even know. But it was a whole lot of whatever. And so we were in New York, and then from February to March, like through the end of January, and then February to March, I had they said it was pneumonia, but for the whole 2 months, I could not breathe. I was coughing so bad, like I had chills, body aches, and usually, even with pneumonia, I could go out and I'm very in shape, and I can go out and I would pitch and hit and everything, and I'd be fine. But I went out to pitch at a practice one day, and like every pitch, I was bent over, like not breathing, and I was like, goodness gracious. And then all this came out about the virus in March. And I was like, dear Jesus, I had that virus. Like I definitely had that. And I perform out in bars and restaurants, and I go to school, I go to church, I go wherever I want to go, and I haven't gotten it yet. So either I was just not meant to have it, or I need to get the antibody test, because
That's what my husband said too, because he was like, he hardly ever gets sick, hardly ever. And he got like, and I think it was in January as well. He got really, really, really sick in January, like bad sick, like in the bed, covered up with the covers, just was there for like 3 days, sick as a dog. And then he was fine. And he hasn't been sick since. And I'm surprised I haven't gotten it because I have a lowered immune system. And typically I'll get sick, if nothing else, because of my allergies at the change of seasons every spring and fall, I'll get it. And I haven't really been sick this year, but because when all this came out, I've like loaded up on my vitamins and honey and, all this stuff because I can't afford to get it. And my son, my youngest son, he worked at a grocery store. So he was like, if anybody was going to get it, he was. But of course, he was wearing a mask every day. He was behind a partition. They were having to do the social distancing, washing hands, hand sanitizer, all that stuff. So he was protected more so than any of us. And I didn't go anywhere. So I don't know. We've all made it through, knock on wood, so far. So I don't know. It's just been weird. But we live in a small county to where like our numbers stayed like in the single digits until sometime in the summertime. And then I think the highest we've gotten is like 40, maybe. I don't know.
I think our first person to get it in St. Clair County was a high school student. And he was in like 10th grade, but he was fine. We haven't had anybody really suffer in our county. And my sister had it. Well, my sister's a social worker, and she's a foster mom. So anytime that she goes to a house or something, like, you never know what you're going to walk into. And so twice in March and April, she gets to a house, to tell them, or to check and make sure they're, doing everything they can to keep their kids safe and stuff. And she was exposed twice, so had to quarantine. That was 2 months she was quarantined each time, or 1 month each time for 2 months. And then she got it in June and was tested positive for 2 months. And she was waiting to get her gallbladder out. So when she went in to get her gallbladder out, they tested her. And so she had to wait, with having gallstones, had to wait 2 months before she could get her gallbladder out because they would not do it till she tested negative. And she was miserable, and not even from the virus. She was like not even sick from that. And she is a very, very sickly person, and she was fine. Like asthma, allergies, everything, and she was fine. But
oh my goodness,
I don't even know. She was not happy. She was like, I've spent 4 months in my room without my kids, without my husband, without my family. She was like, I'm done. I don't care.
I would have been, oh yeah. I had to get tested before I had my surgery the other week. And I was like, if I come up positive now, I am going to be so mad because then I will not be able to have my surgery. And this whole neck issue was causing me, I had like bulging disc, No disc space at all in another area. It was compressing like 3 different nerves. I mean, it was causing like excruciating pains. I could barely move my left arm. It was awful, awful. I was like, if I end up testing positive and I can't have this surgery, no, it's not
Yeah.
happening. Thankfully, it was negative. I was like, no, 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 no. And then I got thinking, I was like, it was a few days after surgery, and I always feel like crap after being like put to sleep or whatever. So luckily I knew that and I could anticipate that. But I was like, if I end up with this afterwards from being in there around all those nurses and doctors, then I'm going to be really pissed because I'm going to feel worse than what I did before.
Yes.
And yeah. So for a couple of days, I was like, oh God, this better just be from the anesthesia. And then I was like, then I started feeling better. I was like, okay, it was. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm okay. And then dang, my grandma had to get it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not even good.
Yeah. I
I'm
get
just over
super
it.
hyper after anesthesia, and I don't know why. Like, I've only had surgery a couple of times, but or not even a couple. I've had one real surgery and then 2 like minor procedures under anesthesia. But I think I was 12 or so, 13 maybe, and I had knee surgery. And I woke up thinking they had cut off my leg because they put a nerve block. And so I could not feel it. I couldn't lift it. It was super heavy. And I woke up like hitting the bed, and the nurse was like, "Do you need some pain medicine?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, if you didn't cut it off." And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Where is it?" She was like, "It's right here." Like, I was like, and then my mom was like, "I need to stop by Sam's. Can you sit in the car?" I said, "No, I'm going in and I want some pizza." And she was like, "Okay." I was like, "I'm sorry. I'm hungry and I want a large Dr. Pepper. Like, don't forget it. I'm coming with you." And she was like, "Okay, but you've got to sit in a wheelchair." And I was like, "Why can't I play with my crutches?" She was like, "Wheelchair."
Oh Lord, that would have been funny to see. So you're one of them people that should be videoed after surgery.
Yes.
No telling what you might say.
Yes, I am definitely one of those. I'm one of those people you should video at all times because I'm either like super clumsy or super dumb. Like, I'm probably the smartest book person you've ever met. But when it comes to common sense and like just regular conversation, I sound like I've never been to school. Like, it's terrible. And my geography, awful. I thought that Kentucky was a city in Illinois. Um, in middle school, or no, my first year of high school, I thought that Elvis and The Rock Johnson were on the Grand Canyon, which I thought was Mount Rushmore. It was just a whole like ordeal. But I'm getting better, and I have a 33 ACT. So who would have thought?
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't think Elvis is on Mount Rushmore.
Well, he was the king of rock, and then Dwayne Johnson is the
the
rock.
Rock. So
I just figured they'd be on the rock, but it's okay.
the wrong kind of rock. Yeah. That makes sense though. So, okay.
I will never live it down either.
Probably not, but that's okay. Oh goodness. Yeah, of course. I knew my throat was going to start hurting. So, what have you got going on music wise now? What are you working on?
So we just did 2 demos this weekend. I go once a month to Muscle Shoals to work in the studio. And this weekend we did 2 demos and a lot of writing. And so now I'm trying to kind of go in a pop direction, but not serious pop. I like the more acoustic, authentic, basic pop. And I'm kind of trying to do a mix. So some of like the Kelsey Ballerini style, and I guess the perfect would be like Miley Cyrus's Malibu, how it's just kind of in the middle. That's kind of the style I'm shooting for, and I had one that I wrote, and we did a demo on it this weekend. It was incredible. Like, I cannot wait to get that out. But we'll see if that's the one I end up picking. But it was so good, and I wrote it on the piano. Like, it started as a ballad, and now it's kind of upbeat. It's just really cool. So, other than that, we're pushing my music through Nashville Entertainment. They've done such a good job, and working in the studios, and then it's writing all the time. But it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad we're doing it. I'm hoping that I can take this as far as it'll take me. So
Yeah, well, I think it's going to take you far, but you are young and you've got plenty of time. So enjoy your last year of high school as much as you can with COVID going on. And I can't wait to hear if you get into Auburn. Um, so hopefully you do. And definitely, I mean, just enjoy college, but of course, keep the writing going on the side. You want something to, I mean, as good as you already are, I can definitely see that going, taking you places, but that you want to major in business, that is always good to have if you want to be in the music career. So,
yes,
I mean, you need to know the business aspect of it because I don't really understand these people that don't understand business and yet they want to have. I mean, if you go into the music industry, you're basically having your own business.
right.
And if you don't understand how businesses operate, why have your own business?
Yes,
And leave it
I
to
couldn't
someone,
rely on
you know,
somebody else to know what's going on. Like my dad right
exactly.
now does a lot of the managing for me. Like he'll schedule things, and um he knows how to put my music out there and how to get it posted, and he knows like all the radio stations to email and stuff. Like he's very good about all that, and I, you know, definitely don't have time to sit down and do it. But he has been a huge help, and I just couldn't. If I was at that level, I couldn't rely on somebody else to have everything because. I mean, they could turn their back at any point. Like my dad would never, but
Yeah.
still, I need to know what's going on. I would feel dumb if I didn't know what was going on. I would feel useless, kind of like all I was here to do was sing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, oh Lord, excuse me, sorry. All right, just some fun questions before we wrap it up. Say whatever comes to your mind first. All right.
Okay.
So, what is not necessarily during quarantine because you haven't really necessarily had to quarantine per se a lot, but what is your go-to food?
Ramen.
I just
I
ate
can't
that
think on
yesterday.
I can't think on the spot, but that's what I had today, and that's what I keep stock of. So ramen.
It is always in my house. That is like that's a
Yes.
staple. It has to be. All right. Have you been binge watching anything?
Yes. I everything. I guess. I
Okay, well,
started
what's the
Dawson's.
last thing that you've binge watched?
Right now, I'm binge watching The Fosters.
The Fosters. I hadn't heard of
Yes.
that. What's that
And The
about?
Bachelorette tonight at 7 o'clock. Um,
I am so mad because where we live, we have Dish and Dish Network where we live has took ABC off or ABC did away with it. So I cannot watch it.
if you have Hulu, you can watch it the next day.
I don't have Hulu. I have
Oh,
Netflix.
you can get the ABC app, and you can log in and you can watch it the next day as well.
That's what I'll have to do.
Yes, it's so good, but apparently they have to cut the season short. So I'm kind of like, so the boys.
Is this the season? Is this the one where Claire is the Bachelorette?
Yes,
Okay. I
and
don't know if
the
I care
boys.
about her anyway.
they the boys, it was such a big deal because like they thought the whole season was going to get canceled. The boys had to go in their own houses and quarantine for 14 days, test negative at the beginning, test negative at the end of the 14 days, then they could be released and all move into the same house. So it was like a whole process, and I would be going crazy because they can't have their phones or any social media.
I
So
know,
they're
right?
literally locked in this like condo thing and cannot talk to anybody. And I'm like, I would literally like sleep for the whole 14 days. I could not handle being
I
alone.
guarantee you they probably have Hulu or Netflix or something like that.
I
They
would
have
hope so.
something.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Something. But I don't know. I don't know if I even like her, if I don't like her. I probably need to watch a little bit of it to determine if I like her or don't like her.
She
And it,
seems very genuine, but like the whole first episode, she was like, I'm going to meet my husband. Like, my love is here and I'm not going to give up. I was like, you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Like, it just because it did not work out the first 2 times on this show does not mean it's going to work out this time, because third time's the charm. Like,
2 times on this show, and how many times did she go to the beach? To the
I
whatever
don't know, but they show it both times. They
the
show
paradise thing?
Yeah, they show her leaving The Bachelor, and her like telling Juan Pablo, she was like, which I just started watching it, Peter's season. But she was like, I lost all respect for you. Like, I'm leaving. Don't even look at me. And he was like, glad I didn't pick her. And I was like,
Well, he was a jerk
goodness.
anyway.
Yeah, it sounded like it. He was like, okay.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
And then they showed her Bachelor in Paradise, where she just walked off and she was like, I just need to go home. I just need to go home. And it shows her going off in this one, and they have to cut the season short. And like the first episode, there's this guy, and his name is Dale, and he is a super good looking. I think he's mixed. I don't know. He's kind of like caramel skin. I mean, he is so good looking. And he goes, or they meet or whatever, and she goes, I think I just met my husband. And they're like 20 guys through, and I'm like, okay, just end the show here. Like,
she's so drama. She's so much drama.
yes. And apparently they rub it in her face that she's 39. Like, I don't think any of them are her age or older. Like, they're all younger than her.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
I could not do that.
Hey, Destiny. Hey, Kara. Tuning in, watching. We're talking about The Bachelorette coming on tonight that I don't get to watch. But yeah, I'll have to tune in and watch it tomorrow night. That's just, yeah. I'm mad that ABC is not on, because there's like some of my shows that I'm like going to be missing because of it. Yeah. It's messed
My
up.
dad made us cancel Netflix after that show came out. So I had to find all my shows somewhere else.
Yeah, there's several, like when they said that Channel 9 was going to be going away, and they did that with one other channel one time, and then it came back. So I was like not worried about it. I was like, oh, would it come back on? Well, nope. It's been like, I don't know, like 6 months, and it hadn't come back on yet. So it's probably not going to. So I'm like really mad.
If you asked like 10 people around from where I live, 9 of them would tell you they ended their Netflix subscription because of that one show. Like, don't you think that Netflix would take it off if everybody is canceling their subscriptions? Like, I
What
don't mean
show?
just like, it's called Cuties or something, and it's these 11-year-old girls, and they're trying to promote awareness for sex trafficking, but like, it makes these girls look like they're asking for it, pretty much. They're 11 years old, and like 23 minutes into the first episode, because my dad was like, well, maybe it's not that bad. People are probably just making it worse. And so we watched the first episode, and 23 minutes in, they were talking about very, very sexual things. And they're literally like still in middle school and like babies. And my dad was like, this is ridiculous, because they came out and said it was about sex trafficking and trying to protect the girls and stuff. But these girls are wearing like no clothes. They're raised wrong, like, and all this stuff. And it literally looks like all those girls that are abducted and kidnapped are like, hey, come get me. Like, no, it's not how it works.
No.
It made me really mad. And it makes me even more mad that they would come out with something so controversial. Like,
yeah, I mean,
they're losing a lot of money.
Something like that needs to have awareness brought to it, but not in that light.
Probably like, true story documentaries, or like, I don't even know. Not that.
Yeah, not that way. I don't know. See, and I don't watch stuff like that. So it should be, yeah, I guess I should be like one of those people that just cancel after that. But I just like, when I come across something like that, I'm just like, I'm not watching that trash.
Yeah.
And I just go by it. But I don't know.
I wish we could have done that, but at the same time, I think that it'll make them delete it because eventually they're going to have to either up their prices or take the show off because they've had so many people cancel. So I'm not worried about it. I will be back soon, Netflix. I promise.
Yeah, especially if people, like write in and say, hey, this is why we've done it. This is
Yeah.
why we canceled or whatever. I don't know. Okay, so next. Besides your music, what is your go-to music? Like, who's your go-to person that you like to listen to?
Old Taylor Swift all day.
Okay. Old Taylor Swift.
Yes.
So you're not into her latest album?
I don't dislike it. It's very different.
Very different.
I like it better than Reputation.
Okay.
That was like a shake for me. I was like, what
so
is
by
this?
old Taylor Swift, are you talking about like the beginning Taylor Swift?
Yes, very beginning.
Yeah, me too.
Original, curly headed, like.
Yep.
Love her.
Yep, that's the Taylor Swift. Blah, blah, blah. That's the Taylor I liked. Yes. Okay. Would you rather, if you could only do one or the other, sing on the stage or in the studio?
Stage, I think. Yes.
Okay. If you could only do one or the other, originals or covers?
Oh, I don't know. I guess covers just because there are so many songs that I can relate to. And the songs that I want to write, I haven't written yet. Like, I know they're coming. It's just like, it's going to take a while for me to make them into something great, I guess. But those are already made great, Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, sing or write?
Oh goodness. I'm better at singing, so probably singing, I guess.
Okay. If you had to pick one song to make a first impression of you, what would it be?
Anything Lady Gaga. So like probably Shallow, Always Remember Us This Way, or Is That All Right from A Star Is Born. Those three are my top 3 songs if I want to impress somebody. Unless it's a country person, that I would sing Blue Bayou or House of the Rising Sun.
Ooh.
Yes. Those are my show pieces.
Okay. I like that. Do you have a favorite quote or like a favorite quote or a Bible verse or a saying, like a favorite something, like when you're having a bad day, you can like, revert to it and it kind of gets you out of your bad mood?
So I actually had I still do a platform for my pageant stuff, which is Just Breathe. And I created it for anxiety awareness in teens and children. And this verse is kind of like the basis of it. And it's also what I learned in Spanish. So it's like my first thing to go to if I were to be like witnessing to a Hispanic person. So it's Psalm 61:2, I think. And it's, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. And so it kind of just makes me think, like, no matter how worried I am, no matter what's going on, no matter what's in my head, like, there's always somebody bigger than me and bigger than the problem and bigger than anything going on in my life. And I can look to him no matter what.
I like that. Yep. Exactly. I like that.
I hope that's the right verse. My teacher may fail me in Bible, but it's okay.
I don't know right off if that is the correct or not without looking it up myself. But I like that. And I love asking you this because you are just 17 right now. So other young people music, what advice would you give them?
I would probably tell them to have a repertoire, go ahead and, learn guitar or piano or wherever it is. Like in my area, we're into country music. So I learned how to play the guitar, and I sing about 45 songs in a 3-hour set. Get those down, learn them as much as you can, and go to a restaurant that has live music and say, I want a night to play on my own. Not only has that helped me be in front of people, it's helped me with my singing endurance. So I can literally sing for hours without my voice getting tired or anything like that. And it's also like a great way to make money as a teenager, because I sang twice in this weekend. A couple weekends ago, I sang twice, and I made $800 just from tips, and I get paid like $100 or $200 depending on where I go. And it's just great, and it's great practice, and you hear a lot of feedback from people. So it's just a lot of help. So pick up a guitar, learn 45 songs, and take them to a restaurant and get started.
Good advice. Solid advice. Yeah, I think that's one regret that I have, because I am not musical at all. Nobody ever wants to hear me sing. But I wish I would have learned how to play an instrument. And like you said, guitar or piano, one or the other. I wish I would have. And probably more so, probably the piano. I wish I would have learned.
I started lessons for piano when I was about 11, and I just got bored with it and decided to stop. And I just taught myself on YouTube from that point on. I was like, I would just play songs I want to know, and other than that, I don't care. And then now I have to use the only chords I know to write my songs. So I probably should have stuck with it, but it's okay. And I play guitar, but my dad is like really, really good. So he actually plays for me at my restaurants and performances and stuff, which is great because I only have to worry about one thing. So
yeah, that's good.
And he lets me keep the money. I don't have to split it.
Hey, that's nice.
Yes.
One of these days, though, he's probably going to start charging you. You start getting big time, he's going to be like,
yeah. He said, if you make it big time, you're buying me a houseboat, and you can just leave me alone after that. He was like, I want a houseboat. I want it on the Outer Banks, and I want to fish for tuna. I was like, okay. I'll make sure to do that. I'll send you a care package every now and then.
That works. Oh, well, Sami, I have loved having you on here. I am going to hop off and go doctor my throat because it's definitely hurting. But I've enjoyed having you on. Thanks for doing the takeover today and for coming on tonight. And for anybody that rewatches that did not watch all the way through with us, we will have Sami back on later when she can have her dad with us and play us some music. It was not convenient tonight, so we skipped over that and just decided to talk a lot, which neither one of us had a problem doing.
It was great.
Yes, and I did not feel like her making me cry by singing her newest song. So I knew that would happen because when I told you, like, when I listened to it before, I was just like, no, I don't think I can handle hearing this, like, coming from you. I mean, it's different when you're listening to it through your phone versus, right here listening to it and it's real. And then I would be like, nah. Yeah. So, but good luck in everything that you do. Stay in touch with me. Let me know as soon as you hear from your colleges. And, yeah, I'm definitely going to keep up with you and see what's going on with your career. And, yeah, we'll have you back on to keep us updated on what's happening with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right. Bye. Everybody, y'all have a good night. And thank y'all for tuning in and watching. And I do believe I have another scheduled Thursday night. Y'all just bear with me if things are getting rescheduled this month. Things are kind of just up in the air right now, of course, with COVID and the way things are going in my family right now. So hang in there and continued prayers for y'all. And if you would, for me and my family, I appreciate it. Thanks. And y'all have a great night. Bye.